Let's start with the new signing then, shall we? Yeah, talk to us about Ben Barclay. Why have you decided to bring him in?
He's the best that's available to us. I mean, that's the be all and end all. I've retained a pretty decent relationship with Simon Wilson at Stockport, and we were talking, and I asked what his plans were for the window, and we got onto their availability because they've got quite a big squad. I know everyone knows that. And when he mentioned Ben, I've known Ben for quite a long time now, years really. He had a very, very impressive spell last year at Accrington in League One, and John Coleman and Jimmy Bell at Accrington have got a habit of finding rough diamonds and making them shine and sparkle a little bit brighter, and they certainly did that with Ben. And I'm sure Ben will be the first to say that it's probably not started the way he wanted it to start at Stockport, but he's got some really good attributes, and he obviously helps us in a time where we haven't got Hunt, we haven't got Staunton, and he gives us that, maturer figure than what we've kind of tended to have to recruit lately in those young, inexperienced players. And I've got to say, the one position you don't want any experience in is central defence. And Ben's certainly like that. He's got some wonderful qualities, really, really great qualities. Good athlete, good runner, attacks the ball very, very well, committed. And he's here for the right reasons, which when you do a loan, especially a short-term one, some of the reasons can be not in the interest of the loan club. They're more heavily weighed in the interests of the individual, which that to me is not a winning mentality. So Ben's here for the right reasons. And no, I wish him well. I hope he has a wonderful month. I hope he has, more wonderful months with us.
Yeah, I was going to mention that because it's a month to start with, isn't it? And then is it very much sort of see how it goes, both with obviously Stockport's availability and you?
Yeah, definitely. And then the availability of others. We know Mr. Wilkinson likes to throw an unpredictable injury in. So it will all be on, availability, and the availability of Ben. He may do so well that Stockport want him to go and play in their team. So, we're open to all those things. But yeah, for the month, we've signed a 26-year-old, good experience, good quality, good caliber and background. It's a very decent, and I've got to say, Stockport were wonderful. There's in a industry now that lacks real class, and I'm talking real class. Stockport have definitely got that in abundance.
Okay, well that's definitely good news. And you mentioned some of the injury issues. So let's start with the good news. So is Luke Wilkinson still hopefully available for the game against Woking?
Thanks for jinxing it, but yeah, he is at the moment. He was yesterday, shall I say? At 5 o'clock yesterday, he was available. So by 5 o'clock Friday, he is. But yeah, he should be okay, Luke. He should be okay. Obviously, Josh won't be able to partake, and neither will Hunt.
And obviously, no, Max is out for a while. What's the situation with Josh? Is that a long term or relatively minor?
I think Josh will miss probably 3 games. Obviously, starting tomorrow, I think he'll miss Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, and then be available for the following Saturday. That's my understanding from the medical team.
Yeah, and in the grand scheme of things, that's not too bad given some of the injuries you've had this season. Looking at defence, obviously Mark Little has been able to get into the other team after his own injury issues. Just interested in your thoughts on how he started his Yeovil Town career.
Well, these experienced players have wonderful resilience and character, and I thought Mark showed that greatly on Saturday. I thought he tired in the last 15 minutes, which is why he went in at central defence. I just wanted to kind of reduce his running distances, and he did tire. But first game in 4 months, we haven't got a reserve team here. We haven't got a youth team. We haven't got an under-23. We can't have those practice games to build people in. We get them to a certain fitness level, and it's get back in there. And he did wonderfully well. And he wasn't going to start, Mark. He wasn't going to start the game, but because of the timing of Hunt's injury late into the Friday session, Mark went in. Especially first half, I thought it was wonderful. His 1v1 defending is as good as I've ever worked with. I mean, incredibly powerful, athletic, committed, reads that situation so well. And no, it was lovely to have him back. Brilliant character. And Mark does not take any prisoners, folks. I'm going to be honest with you there. He points a finger at everyone and anyone. And it was nice to have that kind of standard back. Very similar to Dickinson. When Carl Dickinson was here, very, very similar. They've just got an unbelievable standard about them. And they don't take prisoners. They just do not suffer fools. And, great to have him back. Great guy.
And having that experience, whether it's Ben you brought in or him and Luke coming back, it's important when you're not perhaps in your greatest moment of the other season, albeit that actually there were a few more signs at the weekend that you were getting back to the kind of form you were showing before Christmas.
Mm. Well, look, the consistency of how you put out your back four is huge to anything. I mean, it's huge. And we've had a better season defensively than last season already. That's without doubt. And that's largely due to the consistency of what we can put out as a back four. And for a long time during the run, the back four was Moss, Wilkinson, Hunt, and then maybe a little bit of flexibility at left back with Jordan and Jack and Morgan. But it was pretty much those three. And if Wilkinson wasn't there, Staunton was there. It was just really, it was nice and settled. And then we go into last Saturday and we make 3 changes in that department straight away. I thought they played very well. The back four, probably up until the last 15, 20 minutes. But so many changes, and you're never going to go anywhere in the league without consistency in your defensive unit. And, obviously we find that we have to recruit the solution rather than prepare for the solution. I know that sounds technical, but we have to recruit a player to repair the damage rather than have the player in-house that can just slide in to provide that solution. So in that way, we have to always start again. We're always going back on ourselves the whole time. So that's the scenario that we're faced with. Recruitment is something I very much enjoy doing, as we've spoken about previously, and I like finding people like Ben because I think Ben's a real coup. I really do. I don't want to put too much pressure on him. He's not played for a couple of months, but I think Ben's on paper with his background, his caliber, his the way he's been brought up through Brighton. I think it's a really good signing.
And obviously that's a new face. The league window closes Monday. Would you expect it to be, any more incomings or outgoings between now and then, or is it just take it day by day at the moment?
Day by day. I'm drowning in names at the minute. And obviously normally we would, Terry and I would kind of split them in half and do half each, but that's kind of all on me at the moment. So it's been some long days. I look tired. Even now I'm looking at me. I hate these Zoom things because you end up looking at yourself talk all the time. But I look, it's been a tough week this week, just with the recruitment drive. And it's just important that we acquire people appropriately within our means. And we try and make them the best player, or try and get the best player that we can into the building. And for what we can do, so far the recruitment's been excellent.
And I was going to say with obviously Terry's departure, you've had a relatively short amount of time, but are you looking to bring somebody in? If so, are you getting closer to that? What's the situation there? Yeah,
I'm looking. I'm not any closer. Absolutely not. I've had some discussions with people, but I've got to be. I haven't had time. It's almost been a bit of a vicious circle. I haven't got time because I haven't got that individual here. So to find time and to put that assistant manager's role or coaching role ahead of player recruitment would be wrong, because players are the most important thing. But it's almost a vicious circle, really, in that sense that I don't have time because I don't have someone here. Now, you flip that with, we're in the southwest, we're a long way away. what am I offering them? I'm offering them a coaching role to the end of the season. That's really what I'm offering them. And they've got to live away from home. So there's not loads of people that can do that. There's not loads of people that are qualified anyway to do it. But, so you just got to work for it. But I would have thought I'd have more of a traction on the market next week. This week has just been players.
Fair enough. So let's just focus on Saturday then, and Woking, I guess, having played them in the other cup and the league so far this season, a team well and with a decent record against them.
Yeah, but that doesn't count for anything. I think it's in the. You always find people in the moment, don't you? And you can be fortunate. I remember, I think they might have started our run last time, Woking. It might have been the first game of the run last time, but I can remember they had a really tough game on the Saturday night. It might have even gone to extra time. I think it might have gone to extra time. I don't know why it would have gone to extra, something like that. Anyway, and they came to the game on the Tuesday, and you can see there was real fatigue in the team, and it doesn't matter how you prepare. If you haven't got energy going into a game, then you're gonna have to be a lucky boy to get away with that. So, we caught them in that moment at the right time. And then obviously the trophy was the trophy. And we dodged a bullet really with how we finished the game so strong. But in this moment, we haven't won enough lately. We've had some really tough games. I think the Bournemouth game took a lot out of us that time ago. And then I think there's been certain things going on, and that's kind of taken the wind out of ourselves. The Torquay drama with the two sendings off, losing Grant Smith in the way that we did. Looking back now, that was a big wallop. I try not to remind him every day of the sleepless nights he's cost me, but sometimes that's quite hard in my character not to say it. But we've had some tough games, and I thought last Saturday we played wonderfully well, and we were all so uplifted by the response we got from the supporters afterwards, because I think the supporters could see, they could see that the effort and the style of play and how we kept on trying to win the game. And the Oval fans are brilliant at that. As long as there's an anticipation to win the game, I think they're always very, very supportive of us. And I've got to say, I know we lost the game, but the way they welcomed us really after the game was a real highlight for me. I mean, took me back a bit.
Thank you very much, Darren. Good luck Saturday.
Thanks, mate.
Morning, Darren. How you doing?
I'm okay, mate.
First question, really. Are you missing Terry?
Oh, of course. Look, I've spent every day of the last 2.5 years with Terry. Every day. On the phone to him 6-7 times a day. So of course it's different. I'm quite an interactive character. I like people around me. I like to bounce off of people and their energy and what they're saying and what they're wearing and all them sorts of things. I'm very interactive like that. I would say I'm a player's manager. I'm not someone that sits in the office and creates a huge divide between manager and player. I'm not really like that, but so yeah, of course, that company I think is the biggest thing. He was good with recruitment. Terry, he had lots of contacts in, I could leave him to talk to an agent and things like that because he was experienced at that. So he did a lot of those things on the field, on the pitch, in terms of training. Not so much. I'm quite a dominant person in terms of the coaching week. But definitely his company, his support and his friendship and things like that. And he's like I said, literally every day for 2.5 years we've probably seen each other, and the intensity of that 2.5 years. Everyone on this presser knows how intense that can be at times.
So the likely replacement is going to be difficult to fit all the criteria that you're going to put on him.
Well, you don't replace them. You can't replace like for like. Terry's an individual and has individual qualities like everyone does. What you've got to try and do is you've got to try and what I have to do at Yeovil is that you have to try and kind of whittle down the minimum requirements of what you need, and then work from there. But it's not like there's not a yellow pages for it. You know, you don't Google coaches and think. What we're talking about, we're talking about a 3-month job in the southwest of the country for, you know, no one's going to get rich from it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be out of work again. So, you know, there's lots of things not in support of it. The senior player kind of angle, because that's the first thing I did when I came here. I brought in Andrew Croft to be like a player coach, and I wasn't going to have an assistant because the budget was so small at that point. I was just going to have a player coach, and even that market isn't great. There's not like a raft of Carl Dickinsons and players like that. There's not.
So I presume a similar situation with Joe Quigley. I mean, you know, I'm sure you would have wanted to keep Joe if the situation was right for it. So that's going to be a bit of a miss for you as well, isn't it? Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, he's a good player. Good. The bad ones never get bought, do they?
No.
So that, you know, he's a good player, and yeah, I'd much prefer him to be here. I've got to say to him that the valuation of him was, you know, high. It was a high valuation. So for it to have been met was surprising. No disrespect to Joe or to Chesterfield, but they met a very high valuation of him, and for the business, it was deemed the right thing to do. I've got no problem with that. I'm an employee.
Knowing the sort of culture that football comes with you know, hiring and firing and what have you, when you get a blatantly bad decision by a referee, as you did last week, do you get angry? Because I mean, you know, it comes back on you. You could sort of lose your job by one inefficient decision by the referee, and I mean, it must be extremely difficult to cope with, I would have thought.
Yeah, especially that one. I mean, that moment. I mean, it's not really a, was it a foul? Wasn't it a foul? Was it handball? Was it not handball? It was a head injury, and game should have, and it was a head injury in the middle third. It wasn't even in a critical area of the pitch, so game should have been stopped. But does the referee lose his job?
Not often.
No, they never do. Never do. We mark him out of 100. He got 1 for me.
Well, at least you managed to get the message across, if nothing else. Then,
why
anyway.
Not? Did the clear and obvious affect the course of the game? Absolutely. I mean, what more important? No, what more important a job does a referee have than to command the environment so that the players' health and safety is at the forefront of every decision? What's more important than that? Someone can tell me if floodlights go out, they abandon the game, referees, don't they?
Yeah.
Why do they do that?
Well, safety aspects, I presume.
The players run into each other, don't they?
Yeah. Absolutely. No, most unfortunate, really. But you know, I just think that.
And while we're hammering the referee, he's been very good when he's refed us previously. I think he's performed very, very well. But to get that wrong,
yeah, bad.
Well, listen, it cost us a point, didn't it? So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because I mean, you know, you were going quite well there against the top side as well.
We played very well. I mean, Phil and I have had words many a time over the years, and Phil was, and you can be when you've won the game. You can be a little bit more complimentary than you would be, but Phil knew.
There's been a lot of speculation linking you with a position at Eastleigh. Can you comment on that at all?
Not really. There's nothing to say. If I had to comment on everything social media throughout, we'd never talk about the football. I've got no idea. Absolutely no idea. My dressing room is the best dressing room I've ever had. Best dressing room. So for me to disrespect them by talking about that would be and it's unfounded. So I'd rather just get on with my job.
Yeah. Apart from the two that we've discussed, is there any other injury problems for Saturday?
No.
I mean, is Gorman okay now with his head injury and what have you?
Yeah, Gorman had a cut on his head, but he's a rough, tough kid from Belfast, isn't he? Or from Ireland.
Yeah.
We're in Ireland. But, so he's fine. He'll be fine. But Staunton and Hunty are obviously unavailable. We had a bit of a concern yesterday with Jordan Barnett's ankle, so that'll be assessed today. Excuse me. And then we'll see if he's available for tomorrow.
Well, best of luck tomorrow, Darren. 3 points would be nice.
Mm.
Morning, Darren. How are you?
All right, mate. You?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. We've got 8 games coming up in 28 days. Is it going to be a pivotal month for how the season might pan out for you?
Huh? You're asking me to look into a crystal ball. I mean, there's many things I've acquired in 21 years. The crystal ball is not one of them. No, just Saturday. We understand the importance of Tuesday. We understand the importance of those games. We have to get through the next 2 and work it like that. I mean, I've no idea. I think at the end of January one year, I think I was 18th, 17th in League 2. And I think by the end of March, we were 4th. Unbelievable run we had. So yeah, you just never know. You just never know. It's not even worth thinking about. You might as well just think about tomorrow, and everything for my role at this club in this moment is day to day. Everything's just day to day. Get one day done, flick through to the next one, and get another game done, flick through to the next one, and keep working like that. And that's the only thing we can do. It's the only thing we can do. I know it's boring. I wish I could say absolutely 8 games will be top and we'll win all 8, or if we don't win, we'll go down and hell all freeze over and stuff like that. But no one knows.
No, quite rightly. And obviously, we just mentioned the loss of Quigley. Is it a case of we're getting Reed and Wakefield back to kind of fully fitness, and is it an onus now on everyone else to step up and replace some of the goals that you're looking for?
Well, he ain't scored for a while anyway, is he, Joe?
No, I think he scored 1, hasn't he, this year, is he?
Well, so I don't think we're filling a massive hole. What I can't do is replace Joe like for like. That's the one thing that will not happen. We will not be replacing Joe, the big 6'4", centre forward. We can't replace him like for like with what we have. Impossible. Which is as a manager coach, which was my biggest fear when I knew we were going to lose him. Can't replace him. So, it was a good project for Joe coming to Yeovil, and it was at the right time, and he developed wonderfully well. And I very much enjoyed working with him, and we tried to give him maybe a bit more clarity than what he'd had before. Don't forget, Joe had 14 clubs before he went to Chesterfield. We got it wrong 13 times in 14. So, we did well with him here. We did well. We bucked the trend and may have propelled his career into a new level. I hope we have. Great guy, brilliant guy. And, I enjoyed his company and the time I spent coaching with him and talking to him and things like that. But is it a good? I don't know if it's a good move for Joe. I'm sure he's getting a few quid extra.
I know you don't really.
It does help, doesn't it?
It does. And I know you don't really like talking about it, but is there a sense of frustration when you can see teams spending 6 figures on players in this division, and you're relying on loans to help your team out?
Yeah. Of course it is. It's like anything you want. You always want the thing that's a tenner too expensive. You go looking for a house and you've got £10 to spend. You want the one that costs 12, and you want the fella who's selling it at 12 to come down to 10, so you can have the £12 house for £10. It's the same in any sort of like procurement type position. You always want more. Of course you do. You know, when I think about the resources that you really need, even in year one, we were like mid-table, like resource-wise, but it was enough to attract those senior players to the Southwest. You know, and that's what you've got to do when you're talking about senior players, and you're not around a major city like a Bournemouth, just on the outskirts of London. It's a great location. Barnet, great location. Halifax is just on the edge of, you know, the northwest and the cities in the northwest. If you're not there, you have to attract them with something. If you're going to say spend 4 nights a week away from your family, it's got to be for a reason. And as as we've had to kind of reduce because of reason X, Y, and Z, and let's not get into that for the love of God. It's you end up signing young players and they need development. And when Joe came, he needed development. He had 14 clubs in 7 years. He wasn't doing well, was he? It's the truth. I'm not trying to belittle him. I'm just telling you the truth. The truth. The facts are there. So, you know, and I've very much enjoyed this part of being Yeovil manager, is we have to take something, we have to take an attribute or a quality, and we have to make it so much better, embellish it, and then off we go. And that's why I think, and it's probably my proudest achievement here so far, is that, you know, we sell the players we sold.
Great, that's all for me. Good luck for the weekend, Darren.
Thanks, mate.
Hi, Darren. You okay?
Hello, Ben.
How are you? You well?
Yeah, tired.
Me too. It's fine. With regards to Joe Quigley, do you use the example of Joe and possibly to a certain extent Dan Moss of the progression that you've given these players to the players you're trying to bring in and say, actually, look, I know it's maybe not the most glamorous part of the world, and you know you have got to make this sacrifice, but look what we can do for you. Do you try and use that when recruiting?
And they don't care. The players like Joe. So let's use your 2 examples. Dan Moss. Dan Moss had not played 1 senior game in his life. So no one was prepared to take a chance on Dan Moss. No one. That was clear. He's 21 years old, never played a senior game. So we were the first ones to give Dan Moss a senior game. If Dan Moss would have had Dagenham and Redbridge in for him, which was probably 30 miles from where he was, where would he have gone? It's not hard. Joe Quigley didn't have a job. Joe Quigley was pushed out of another club and was unemployed. And we stole him. We stole him, really. And Joe phoned me. I didn't phone Joe. Joe phoned me. So Joe needed me, or Yeovil, more than we needed Joe at that time. That was it. You know, that's the long and short of it. And when you look at all the other examples, they needed us more than we needed them. So football is a job. Everyone gets into this romantic notion that footballers buy into a dream. They don't. As soon as they're professional, it's their job and they want to earn as much money. If there was a romantic kind of notion that if you stay, you can get better and you can go here, Joe would never have moved to another National League club. He's moved, I don't know, how far is Chesterfield? 200 miles? He's moved 200 miles away from his partner to play in the same league. Now, I'm guessing it's for one thing. So they're all jobs. They're jobs, and you know, and people can say what they like about it. I think if you was in the same position when you've had job offers, and the job offer is do the same job but for more money, same hours, I know what all 4 of you would do. You would all take the job for more money that's the same job. Of course you would. Why wouldn't you? And especially for a footballer, because at 35, he's got to down tools and he's got to start his trade all over again. He's got to start from scratch. So difficult. I understand why Joe went. I don't disagree why Joe went. I think if Joe would have stayed and carried on developing, he might have jumped the National League and gone straight into the league. That was my thought process. But, you know, that's just a thought. what Chesterfield were offering was an actual, improvement in lifestyle.
You said that we got a fairly high value for him, and obviously you didn't want to get into the individual specifics, but have you been given assurances of what percentage you might be able to bring into your budget and what's going into other budgets, or is it still just a case of you asking time and time again?
Yeah, look, I think the decision to sell Joe was so that that it benefited the business, the organisation, that the people who work as secretaries and stadium managers and commercial officers, they get paid, and we ensure the business model of the organisation. I think it was purely that decision. I think the chairman made that quite clear. So the last thing I ever want to do is see people lose their jobs. I mean, gee, that's the worst thing ever. So it's if that's the decision, like I said, I'm an employee of the football club. What happens when my wages stop getting paid and my family can't live? So there's lots of things to consider. In terms of what we can do to bring players in, it's always case by case. It's been case by case for 2.5 years. So it was case by case with John and Norman before Scott was the owner. So I'm used to all these things. What really people want you to do as a football coach and a manager is find another one like that and do it again, don't they? Because why wouldn't they? The profit margins on Joe were astronomical.
On Saturday, then, there was no Joe Quigley, but obviously you didn't start either with Reid or Yusuf as a focal point in attack. It was seemingly a quite fluid three with Knowles, with Wakefield, and with Sonny. What kind of freedom did that give you and give them to play their game? Because it was fairly well received by all accounts. We gave them a bit of a torrid time in that first half.
Well, I'd not seen it. The long and short of it, I'd not tried it. It had never been a time to try it. I thought that, what did I think? I thought in the first game against Wrexham, I thought we were quiet in the first half. I know everyone talks about it being a really good performance, and it was a brilliant result, the first game at their place. But I actually thought first half we were quite toothless, and I'm not pointing out any individual, but I thought I didn't feel we had a threat. And early on in the second half, I changed the shape, and I got Charlie more central. And Charlie finished the game as a lone striker, and he was an absolute menace on the counter-attack. I mean, imagine being left alone with Charlie Wakefield on the halfway line. I mean, oh my life. I'd have to just kick him as early as possible. But and I've not seen the other three. Look, it's even with Joe Quigley in the team, and Joe's being made to be something really because he's gone that he wasn't. But even when we had Joe, we haven't scored enough goals. And there was something there that I'd not tried and I'd been thinking about for a while. And I thought, oh, could I do it? And, and then Joe was in good form. Then Addy was in really good form. And it's kind of a moment where I thought we might need a bit of a shift here. And I thought they were excellent. Sonny's only going to get better if he gets rolled out. Keep in and out. I don't think that's going to help him. He's got an extraordinary talent. He works so hard. You can see him trying to put his body into different positions physically to try and show that he's competing. So he's got wonderful attitude. Knowles is probably the form player. And Wakefield is, and I hate to say it because I never thought I'd say it, he's probably first name on our team sheet. So I don't like complimenting Charlie. It doesn't sit right with my face. Look, I'm all contorted and it just don't sit right with me. But he's been excellent, absolutely brilliant for us, Charlie. So you got to fit them all three in, and likewise with Barnett and Worthington, two players heavily in form. Actually, the most pleasing thing for me, Ben, at the moment is there's not one player that's not getting better, which is why I'm probably not in like a desperation state, because every player's getting better, which means they must be doing as much as they can. It's not one player. I think Alex Bradley's probably the one, maybe if people wanted to be a little bit naughty, they will need a point where Alex hasn't played so much. I think Alex is on the cusp of that. When I watch Alex in training, the conversations we've had, I think he's on the cusp of that. I really do. So I think when Alex's opportunity arises, I think we'll all see that dynamic version of him. And I thought actually when he come on, he attacked well. I didn't think he defended very well, but I thought he attacked very, very well. And so I think they're all getting so much better. So much. Morgan Williams has been a revelation, absolute revelation. Did I answer the question, or did I just tell you that everyone got better?
I thought it was interesting regardless.
Okay.
I was fascinated by your 1 out of 100 comment for the Wrexham ref, and I was wondering, without necessarily going back into the ref, what actually is the process after a game, and what sort of happens after you've given a mark of 1 out of 100?
I've got a call planned today with the Referees Association. That's one. And if you score them less, I think, than 70, you have to report. So obviously we did quite a heavy report into the moment that changed the game. Make no bones about it. And my biggest disappointment that the health and safety of players is not at the forefront of the referee. It was in the middle. I just can't. I actually thought it was a foul on Knowles afterwards as well. It was madness. You can't tackle from behind. Is that back in now? Is it? Tackling from behind's in. I could play again because I'm never in front of anyone. So, I thought it was a really poor moment for him. And like I said, I think he's performed very well for us. Not for us, when he's reffed us. He's performed very well in the past. And his dad was a brilliant ref as well. So, I don't want to tarnish a man's, reputation, because there's no need for that. But unfortunately, like Adi alluded to, I think there's only one group of people that lose out on that, and that's the manager and the players that he goes against when it's that daft, So you have to be careful, Ben, because the FA have already taken too much of my wages in the past. I can't afford to lose anymore.
In that case, we'll move on to Woking then. Was it a little bit of a nice surprise to see Tavon Campbell disappear off? 13 goals, third top scorer in the league, and he's no longer going to be there on Saturday. Does that change any preparation at all?
No, it don't bother me. It don't bother me at all. Like we've spoke about, we've done very well against centre forwards this year with a reputation. So I've got no bother with Ben Barclay marking Tavon Campbell, Luke Wilkinson, Morgan Williams. I don't want to be detrimental to Tavon because he's obviously done very well, and good luck to the boy. But those things don't bother me.
We are expecting another good travelling support. There's a fair chunk of tickets that have been sold. And then obviously we've got a rather big game on Tuesday. I'm sure you've noticed. How much have the supporters got a role to play in the next couple of minutes? It's been alluded to that we have got a busy month coming up, and obviously we've not been on a great run. What role can the supporters play over the next 6 weeks or so?
Well, they've been magnificent. I mean, the away following have just been incredible. The amount of difficult Tuesday night games we've had as well, that it stuns me really how they finance it and how they find time for it. And the answer to that is, they have a huge passion for our football club. It's brilliant. And I try and go out and talk to them, especially the away following, before games. They're excellent. Honestly, there's not many other things I do this job for than that moment at the end when we win. Because, I'm not an affluent man. The Oval definitely doesn't make me an affluent man. I spend most of my time working, criticised, all those other things. So that one moment at the end that we created 2.5 years ago, probably away at Aldershot, if I remember rightly, they're the reasons we do it. That's the reason we do it. I've got no other justifiable reason for wanting to do this job other than those moments at the end. They're a huge part of it. And like I said, Saturday will stay with me because I don't think I've ever had a reception like that after losing a game. But because of the way the supporters saw the performance and saw what we were doing and all the other elements to it, the way we were all, kind of getting around each other, I thought it was great, absolutely great. And that to me meant more to me than some of the wins, because it shows that that is real support. In my eyes, that is real support. And they've got a huge part to play. We need them because we're going to need what we're not going to be able to do this year that we've maybe done in previous years is bring in new energy to the changing room. You know, we're going to have to make sure that these lads who have never really played a full season, that they've got energy right up until the last day. And that energy is going to have to come at times from me, of course, but externally. You know, externally, I don't think we'd have played as well against Bournemouth without the support there that night. No, not a chance. Not a chance. We played above ourselves that day, and that was only because of the support and the anticipation from the supporters. So, Ben, they're massive. I know managers play on this quite a lot, and you're told when you're learning to be a manager, always talk about the supporters and how great they're. Magnificent, absolutely magnificent. And I think we all know each other well enough now that if I don't really mean something, I don't normally say it. So they got a huge role. We need them. I need them. I need them to see. I need them to be conscious of the moment, the situation, and how bloody brilliant this group of players are doing, and how hard they're working. I mean, wow! I've never seen a group of players work like this group. Incredible group.
We won't get a chance to talk to you before Tuesday, so I just want to ask a little bit about Weymouth, but the event of Weymouth. I know you go game by game, under the lights, Tuesday night, a packed out Hewish Park. Can't wait, can you?
No, they're brilliant games. They're quite nervy games. I'm not gonna say I get quite nervous for the Weymouth games, quite rightly so, and that's only because I know the importance of them and what it means to everyone. But no, great games. I mean, that penalty shootout, Ben. It was it was horrendous. I questioned my faith in the big man. So it's but they're, look, David's gone in there. David's a very good coach. There'll be a different team. They'll have a different way, energy, strategy about them. So it won't be it won't be the same contest. And I actually think, and I'm just trying to be honest here, I actually think they've closed the gap this year on us a little bit from the previous years. So I think that the game will be very tight. And whereas I thought last season we were heavily dominant against them, that kind of discrepancy I don't think is necessarily there now. So we'll have to make sure that we are well recovered from tomorrow. I'd much prefer going into Tuesday with a win behind us than leaving those Weymouth games to break in that kind of spell. So it's important. The preparation tomorrow is important mentally, in that we win the game, and we're going to Tuesday really, really back with our full confidence, that winning feeling. We've been on the team bus for a couple of hours and we've won, and we're celebrating that together. And that we don't get any injuries tomorrow. That's another one. But great games. And the supporters, just, I will say, in my diplomatic position, let's just make sure everyone gets there safe and goes home safely, because it's a game of football. It is a game of football.
Finally, from me then, I think I'm right in saying, according to Wikipedia, Wednesday's your birthday. How much better would 6 points, including 3 against the Derby side from down the road, make your birthday feel?
I didn't even know that.
According to Wikipedia, 2nd of February, which I believe is Wednesday.
Same birthday as David Jason, Del Boy. Is there any resemblance? Maybe.
Similar levels of wheeling and dealing.
Look, yeah, birthdays in football seasons, they don't really exist. They don't really exist, not to me anyway. But no, it's listen, I'll be very grateful to get there, especially in the current climate and Lee and things like that. So I'll be very grateful to get to 39. It's my 21st season in professional football, and I probably look 49, which is fine, not a problem. I've earned every wrinkle I've got, Ben, trust me. It's soon be up for the big 4-0.
Have you got to bring the cakes in on your first day back in? Is that the rule?
Yeah, they do that. Yeah, the players do that. I might do. I don't know if I like them that much.
Depends if